Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I'm here with Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, who was recently named the Teacher of the Year in the St. Louis Public School District. And I'm going to let him tell you more about this, but first I want to ask my brother, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Doc. Man, thanks a lot for your time, man. I know you're a very busy man.
Oh man, it's not so much about being busy. My lack of energy comes from the fact that I'm recovering from a little bit of a flu that I had, and but so today is sort of my first day back. So I want to tell everybody if I say something crazy, just blame it on the flu. Now, first I want to say to you, man, congratulations on your award. That is amazing news, well deserved. Very proud of you, man. Congratulations.
Hey, man, thanks a lot, man. And I'm unapologetically Christian, man. So I give all the glory to God, man, because it's only by His grace that He gave me these gifts and put me in the right place for them to be seen. So, I thank you, though.
Yeah, so you won, from what I understand, the Pettus Award for Excellence in the St. Louis Public School District for you said pre-K up to eighth grade. Now, what do you teach?
I teach special education, and my classroom I have a mixture of students first grade through fifth grade.
Hmm.
So I have to differentiate, instruction from first grade students to second grade to third grade to fourth grade, and then I have to test. Like most teachers, they have to just test a certain grade level because that's all they teach. But I have to test, all the students who need to be tested, from the third through the fifth. So it keeps no 2 days are alike, and that's what I love about
it. Interesting. So you say that's what you love about it. So what drove you to become a teacher in the first place? I mean, there are a lot of people that are complaining about, just how things have changed for teachers, how it's become harder to be effective in the classroom, that there's so much administration they have to work through that makes it difficult to do their job. You saw in Atlanta that now teachers are being sent to prison for what I believe are unjust reasons. What drives you into that profession, and what makes you want to be a teacher?
Well, actually, my undergrad, my major you will find this funny, was finance, right? Right? Because, I grew up rough, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here, right? People in education use stats to tell you why it's okay to be mediocre. Okay, both my parents been to drug and alcohol rehab. Okay, I'm not supposed to be here. I was in poverty. My grandparents didn't make it past the third and sixth grade. And my dad didn't, he dropped out of high school. So the people who raised me, none of them had high school education. So by stats, I'm not supposed to be here. So they'll use stats against kids to say, well, okay, he didn't eat or his parents went to jail, so he's not supposed to be successful, right, in the first place. So I don't buy into that notion. And what drove me into education was, first I was in finance just because my buddy said, I said, hey, man, it's time to choose a major. I said, what are y'all majoring in? One of my buddies said finance. I said, hey, well, that sounds good. Sign me up for that too. So I just started going to finance classes. I started taking stats, and I was just so good at, education to where, everything just came so easy. So I was doing pretty good until I always wanted to be a basketball coach. So my high school basketball coach said, hey, man, won't you volunteer and coach? So my senior year, I was volunteering coaching, and I just loved it. And I was substitute teaching. And the superintendent, the special ed teacher had quit, and the superintendent said, hey, man, you here all the time. Won't you think about teaching? I said, man, I never took an education course, man. I can't teach. I don't know anything about teaching. I've been taking finance courses, right? Like business stats and all that. I said, I've been taking finance courses. He said, hey, man, don't worry about it. I can get you alternative certification, and you can teach. He said, you'll be good at it, I'm telling you, man. And then I was poor, so they told me I think I was gonna make with coaching and teaching. I think I was gonna make like $28,000. And at that time, as a college senior, I thought that was a whole lot of money. I said, you know what? College will be here. Let me go and teach. And man, it just seemed it just came so easy to me, man, to the point to where now I just love it now.
Wow. So how many years you been in the game?
This is my fifth year, man. I taught for 3 years, and I actually taught. They had me teach at a semester at a juvenile detention center to all the kids ages 8 to 17. I was teaching them personal finance and life skills, man. And I I love that, man. I love to get those guys in a place to where they knew they couldn't go nowhere and they just had to listen to me. Right? I can really teach then, man. So, but I mean, that experience is why I go to juvenile detention centers now and volunteer, and I speak to guys about the same thing: personal finance, life skill goals. Because I believe, Doc, that the world is a classroom and we're all educators, right? So for me, I think my calling is a lot higher. Because ironically, even though I got the Teacher of the Year award today, I actually turned in my letter of resignation today. My
your letter of resignation.
Yeah, the same day I won Teacher of the Year. Yeah.
Wait. So when you get an award, you're supposed to want to keep your job. So you quit your job. So tell me about that.
I told my principal. She said, why you quitting? I said, for me, it's spiritual for me, and I think that my calling is. I think I'm being selfish by keeping my gifts and unique talents in one classroom or in one school building. I said we have too many black boys and black girls who are not being educated. So with that being said, I think I need to, again, the world is a classroom and we're all educated. So I need to go out and not only recruit more black men and women to teach special ed, because by the way, I'm only one of 73 black men who are special education teachers in the whole state of Missouri, including Kansas City, Missouri, and St. Louis, Missouri. So, I think I can go out and recruit more people to the field as well as build a curriculum like we're doing for Your Black World. We're building a curriculum for parents to teach their kids at home because what we're finding out here in St. Louis is a bunch of failing schools to where I see so many parents on Facebook happy about their kids making honor roll, but they don't know, Doc, that even though your kids make an honor roll, if they're in a failing school, they still not learning what they're supposed to learn. So you have kids who've been making an honor roll from 5th grade on who hadn't missed it, but they still not ready for college. There's no excuse for that. That shouldn't be going on today. So with this curriculum, we'll have what kids should know at the end of 1st grade, what kids should know 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. So when kids come home from school, their parents can say, hey, instead of getting on the Xbox or the PlayStation or going outside, I want you to get on this iPad app and you work on your math skills for 15, 20, 30 minutes because you need to know this or you need to know that before you actually start doing things. So for me, it's more of a calling to be out in the world and, and teaching and reaching more people than just in my particular building.
Wow. I think this is a bold move, and I think it makes a lot of sense. That's kind of how I felt too, when I was in a classroom with just 30, 40 people. I said, I really would rather talk to 30,000 people or at least 3,000,
exactly.
300 or some number that scales up. And I'd like for those to be 30,000 black people if possible. So I'm probably the last person that can tell you that wasn't a good move, even though I know it's definitely a little bit of a risk. So how does that feel to make that transition? How's that gone so far?
Oh man, well, I mean for me, my options are open. Especially again, man, I'm only one of 73 African American teachers in the whole state, man. So it's not like I'm not a commodity, right? So I mean, and if it don't pan out, I can always go back to teaching in the classroom. The classroom always gonna be there because there's always kids who need to be helped. There's always schools that's failing, man. But I think that the world, I mean, again, and today is, Malcolm X's birthday, man. So, when we talk about the legacy or the black tradition or the tradition of people back in the day, our ancestors who sacrificed for a world that they wouldn't even see, right? To we now to a day to where they use, because what burns me up is people use this, they use the stats against us, right, for the mediocrity, right? When it's the same thing that's been going on, Doc. Well, you know it. They said, they said we was dirty, but we cleaned their houses, right? They said, so it's the same thing. They make up all these things about it. They said we was lazy, but they made us slaves, right? They say we was unruly, but we washed their kids. We raised their children, man. So it's the same thing. So if I can do just half of what you're doing and get out in the world and touch more people and leave a positive effect on society, man, I'm fine with that. I don't have to, because I'm not here for awards. I never thought I would win a Teacher of the Year award. So that was just extra. But my mind was already made up that I was going to leave. So this award definitely not going to make me stay. So all the people's patting me on the back and, that's fine. And I'm very, very grateful. But for me, it's about kids changing their quality of life, man.
Well, I love it. I respect what you're doing, man. I think it's great. I think it's going to work. I really do. I know what skill you have, which is why I'd reached out to you to ask to support us and put together this curriculum for the families that are connected to us. Because I think it's important that we as scholars do some constructive building. We got a lot of scholars that do a lot of talking, and that's fine, and that's what we do. We talk,
Yes.
but after we finish talking, we got to start building as well. And so maybe that's the way we can take things to the next step, to the next level. Now, I want to ask you this: what's the importance of you as a black man being in that classroom or being in front of young black people? Period. Even if you're not in the classroom, as you mentioned, the world can be your classroom. So I'm not talking about just a classroom where you can find. I'm saying even if you're on the internet or speaking to a crowd of parents, what do you think is the significance of you being a black male in that role as opposed to anybody else?
Well, it's mentorship, or it's just seeing somebody doing it. Like me, I was raised in a projects where it was just alcoholics and drug dealers and drug users. So I didn't know any writers, I didn't know any scholars. So it took YouTube to see you and Dr. Cornel West and Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, right, for me to realize that hey, it's real. I see another black man doing it, so I can do it. So let me read about them and follow them and do exactly what they've done, and maybe I can get on their level one day, right? So when I walk in the building or in the classroom, it just doesn't affect black students, and studies show this. It affects all students to where black males have a positive effect. Especially on young black boys, especially I can relate to them, or black men can relate to black men. Like, hey, or just tell them how society views them. I had a PE teacher. He's still my mentor today. He said, hey, he's always telling me, hey, man, you got to understand how people view you. He said that way you know how to respond and how to react. And that's why we having all these tragic situations. Per se the Michael Brown situation. If he knew how society viewed him and things of that nature, then things may or may not have turned out different. But you got to know, being 6'2" and that big, how society views you, right? So I think that's important in trying to be in getting the roadmap and trying to be successful is giving somebody who's gonna tell you the honest truth and give you knowledge about how it is.
Right on. I couldn't agree with you more. Just this weekend, I was, or 3 days ago, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, doing an event with an attorney, Demario Solomon Simmons, and we spoke to a group of black boys about being a black man in America and things like that. And from my experience in events like that, it's clear that these boys need to see men in the community. And I think that now that we're dealing with this crisis situation in the black community, where so many millions of our men have been taken away from the community due to the prison industrial complex, we need fathers that are going to be surrogates for those fathers that are not there. And I see you being one of those surrogates. You can learn manhood from the men in your life if your father is not there, and that's I guess right. the option we're going to have to resort to. And I think that's important for the guardians of these young men to understand too. I know that as his mama, you're doing everything you can. You're trying to be his everything, but there is a point where there will be questions he will have where you won't have the right answer. There will be things
exactly.
There'll be things he'll want to do that you won't understand. There'll be a way
right.
to see the world that you just won't get in a million years, and you have to have room for that male to step in to be supportive. And I think that you're one of those guys that can do that. Now,
I appreciate it.
Get the last word, man. So tell me about your next big plan. Tell me about your book too, Diary of a Disability Scholar. Tell me about that book and also what you plan to do with the book and how you plan to move forward with your career.
Okay, Diary of a Disability Scholar is currently sold in several universities as professors use it to prepare future special education teachers for the field of special education. So I'm being impactful in that area, and I'm truly blessed. It's also in Harvard Library as well, so I'm pretty proud about that because I don't even have the grades to get inside Harvard, but they have my book in their library, so I think that's like amazing. but I'm releasing 3 books on October 1st. My next Diary of Disability Scholar series, and my children's book, Caden is Different, which is about a little boy with a disability called Caden, and it's in every education, elementary school.
I want everybody to see your book. That's why I was holding it up. Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, it's in every elementary school in the St. Louis Public School Districts and along with special school districts So the book is, I've been getting a lot of support. Again, Walmart, the people buy books from Walmart called me last week about it. So, if you hadn't got it, you can go to my website, disabilityscholar.com, and get it. But hopefully, I'll be coming out with a cartoon with it because I don't think we have enough cartoons, black cartoons. So I'll be coming out with a cartoon hopefully within the next year and a half, hopefully, as well as the next book called Caden Goes to School. And it's a social story. It's about anti-bullying and things of that nature. And in the last word, I got to shout out Andre Hatchett. He putting together a mentor, a mobile mentorship with called Rebranding of the Black Man. So please support that. Rebrandingoftheblackman.com, where he's doing documentaries on black men to be, mobile mentors, where you can just pull it up at home on your phone and show your kids. So that's, shout out to Andre Hatchett.
All right, yes. Double shout out to Andre Hatchett. You and Andre are definitely future leaders of today and tomorrow, and I have a lot of respect for both of you guys. You guys are just killing it, man. And congratulations on your award, brother. I'm very,
Thank you,
very
man.
happy for you. I'm not surprised in the least. I knew you do lots of great things like this, and this is just one of many, I'm sure. So everybody, this is Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III. His website is disabilityscholar.com. His book is called Diary of a Disability Scholar. And there's also this other book for your children called Caden is Different, which you can get on his website, which is at disabilityscholar.com. So I hope you'll go support his book. Even if you don't read children's books, I hope you'll at least get one because we have to support each other, as Malcolm told us to do a long time ago. Well, everybody, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. And don't forget also, we have a new documentary out called Resurrecting Black Wall Street. I hope you'll support that as well. It's at resurrectingblackwallstreet.com. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.